Hello, and welcome to the Gamer's Closet. I'm your host, Douglas Weed, and continuing Monopoly Month of episode 3 of 4, we are going to talk about tonight free parking. Free Parking is a game manufactured in 1988 by Parker Brothers. It is a Monopoly-themed game based off of the free parking space on the original Monopoly game. The game itself is for 2 to 4 players. It runs for about half an hour and is rated for ages 8 and up. But let's dig into it a little further, shall we?
Whew! I haven't had so much fun since I started playing my Monopoly game. Because now I'm in a new game, free parking. First I feed the meter, then one card gives me 40 minutes to take my nephew to the dentist. Feed the meter again, then I get 20 minutes to buy pajamas. But remember to feed the meter, or you could get a big surprise. Free parking from Parker Brothers. Try it, but let me rest up first.
In 1988, Parker Brothers released Free Parking, which is a variation on their original Monopoly game. In this game, you have to accumulate 200 points and feed your parking meter while playing cards. The game was also released in Germany as Tempo, and was also released in France as Free Parking Gratuit. The game does come with multiple pieces, which includes a deck of 90 playing cards with 38 feed the meter cards, 36 point cards, and 16 special parking cards, 32 second chance cards, 4 parking meters and bases, and 1 card tray. To set up this game, insert the parking meters into their bases. Give one to each player and set all the meters at 0 and in violation. Shuffle the second chance cards and place them face down on the table near the game draw tray. Shuffle all the playing cards together and deal 5 face down to each player. Place the remaining cards face down in the draw section of the tray. The person to the left of the dealer goes first. There are several kinds of cards in this game that do specific things. Starting with the feed the meter cards, these cards allow you to put corresponding amount of time on your own parking meter. These come in 20, 30, 40, and 60-minute increments. Point cards allow you to spend time that you've put on your parking meter to run errands. There are special parking cards, play one to protect yourself or to zap an opponent. There are 4 free parking cards in your deck. On your turn, you may play this card face up in front of you on the table. It remains there until your next turn. During that round, you are protected from Officer Jones if another player plays him on you, or if he pops up on a second chance card. On your turn, it allows you to play any point card, regardless of value, even if you have no time on your meter. If you do have time on your meter, play the point card, but leave the meter alone. However, while you have this card in front of you, the time may expire on your meter, and you may be affected by other second chance cards. There are also 4 Officer Jones cards in the deck. Play this card against any opponent whose meter is on 0 or in violation. That player must then choose one of their already played point cards from the table in front of them and discard it into the discard tray. You may play this card at any time, even when it is not your turn. Once you've used it, discard it. If you've played it out of turn, you can still take your turn when it comes up. If you play it on your turn, you can still take your regular turn. There are 4 time expire cards in the deck. On your turn, play this card on any opponent, who must then immediately put their meter back to 0. Use this card once, then discard it. This constitutes your main turn, but you may still draw a second chance card if you want to. That card stays in play until the beginning of your next turn. The final special card is the Talk Your Way Out of It card, which there are 4 in the deck. Officer Jones bugging you, somebody picking on you with second chance cards. Play this card in front of you to get away scot-free. This card cancels any action against you, including any second chance cards you or another player draw. Use this card at any time, even when it is not your turn, but once you've used it, you must discard it. You may elect to pick up a second chance card or not. They may be risky, but they do add excitement to the game since they may help or hurt you and your opponents. But once you've picked up a second chance card, you must do what it says. There are a couple of cards that require rule clarifications, which I will be going over now. If you are instructed to trade places with another player, you move to their seat, leaving your meter and all your cards behind. Play proceeds as normal to the next person whose turn it would have been if you hadn't moved. If a second chance card says an opponent loses a card, they select which point card they will lose from those on the table in front of them. They put that card into the discard tray. They do not give it to you. If you are instructed to give an opponent one of your point cards, you select which card you give them from those already face up on the table in front of you. If you have not yet played any point cards, you get off easy. If you're instructed to take a point card from another player, that player picks up their point cards from the table, turns them over face down, and fans them towards you, and you pick a card at random. They then return the remaining point cards face up to the table. You do not move your meter down. During your turn, you have a couple of options. First, draw a card from the tray. Second, play a card from your hand. And third, draw a second chance card if you choose to. Or you may, 1. Exchange 3 cards from your hand for new cards from the draw pile, and 2. Draw a second chance card if you choose to. A few gameplay tips I do need to go over. When drawing cards, always draw enough cards to bring your hand back up to 6 cards. You have the option of overfilling your meter if you already have some time on your meter and you want to add more, but you only have a large denomination feed the meter cards. You are allowed to overfill your meter. For example, if you have a 30-minute meter and you have a 40-minute card, you may use that card and put your meter all the way up to 60. But please be advised your meter caps out at 60, so any additional time you put on it is lost. Finally, as I stated before, exchanging 3 cards. If you don't like your hand, you may use your turn to exchange 3 cards for 3 new cards in the draw pile. However, the only other move you can make this turn is to draw a second chance card if you want. To win the game, you must be the first player to put down point cards totaling 200 points. Well, this has been an overview of free parking on our third of 4 episodes of Monopoly Month. This game is a fairly interesting game. It has some really neat parking meter mechanics, so that way you can add time to them and subtract time off of them, so you actually have to move the time counters on the parking meter. The game kind of has a Milbourne's feel to it, with the way that you're putting down points and then putting hazards in play and trying to get around them and things of that nature. So like I said, it has a kind of a Milbourne's feel to it. But it is a good standalone game on its own. The game itself goes online anywhere from about $10 to $20, so the game is relatively easy to find and it's very inexpensive. For what you get out of the game, I would say it is worth playing. If you haven't played this particular themed game before for Monopoly, I would honestly recommend giving it a chance. The game itself has a good quality family feel to it. It is a basic card game, but it's not something that you have to read too much into or get really involved with to have a really good time with it. So if you haven't played Free Parking before, I really would recommend playing this game. Well, that's it from us here at the Gamer's Closet. We'd like to thank you for checking out our video on free parking from Milton Bradley. If there's a game you'd like us to review in the future or go over, please put it in the comments below. Please hit subscribe so that way you can be the first to check out our future content. And as always, please have a great gaming day.